Hey guys, I am back and it is an exciting day because look what is finally here. It is the Demko Cold Steel AD-15. I've been waiting for this. I'm so excited, guys. I'm so excited. I can't even take it. Okay, catch my breath. Catch my breath. All right, and kicking the tripod all at the same time. So, flashback a little bit ago. Got the AD-10. Talked all about the AD-10. Talked about how much I love the AD-10, and this is still one of the greatest, one of the best. I love this knife. Right now, if I had to, revise my Grail knife list, it would be for a true 100% real Andrew Demko custom AD-10, AD-15. I would do almost anything to get my hands on the real things, but these cold steel ones, it is amazing. One of the smoothest, toughest, most comfortable, maybe the most comfortable knife I've ever put my hands on. Love this to death, and I've been carrying it and using it, and I just love it. Great materials, great engineering, great design, and I just have been excited as hell to get my hands on the AD-15, which is probably one of the strangest and coolest looking designs out there with what they call the scorpion lock there. Just really, really nifty looking knife. To start with, because they make it easy, let me put these specs right there for you. Okay. Let me open the box, which would probably be a good start too. And we're going to compare the AD-15. We're going to look at the AD-15 on its own. We're going to compare it to the AD-10. And I thought that, in terms of philosophy and kind of blade shape and design a little bit, nearest competitor might be the Benchmade 275. So we'll take a look at the 275 in comparison to both of these. Imagine the 2001 music right now, because I don't want to play it, risk a copyright infringement, but look at that. Now, when I open it, you'll see very similar family lines, but still very different design. So what we've got here is very uniquely sculpted G10, not a deep carry clip. Why doesn't everybody just put deep carry clips? I love them. But I remember in the interview him saying he specifically didn't use a deep carry clip because it's just enough to get your thumb on there to remove it from the pocket. But this G10 is amazing. Anyway, titanium, beautifully anodized to match kind of a bronze green to match everything else there, and then an S35 VN blade, big chunk of S35 VN with a very unique locking system, as you'll see when we get it opened up. Now, the clip is reversible, left or right, tip up, no tip down. I don't care. I love tip up. It works for me. This big titanium bar is on a hinge right there. Now, what's interesting too? Take a look when I move. It doesn't affect the lanyard hole at all, which is cool. Just the way it's all built in there. But that is where your locking pin is. And take a look at how deep the groove is that goes into the blade where that locking pin fits. This thing is going to stay locked. And then there's a secondary set of pins right there that fits in. So it's a really solid lockup. So you can see the blade shape, slightly more spear point a little bit than the 10. But similar family lines. It's got that same great jimping up there that I love. Gorgeous grind lines, look at that. Really nice satin finish. It looks so unique. Looks very mechanical and technical. You raise the titanium to unlock the knife, but you can see how the secondary pins fit into that cutout. So they also help stop the blade when it hits to close, but you've got that big stop pin that locks it up in there. Little bit of a hump to get over right there as you start to open the blade. So you feel a little bit of resistance, which you don't feel with the AD-10 because it just works different. AD-10 is one of the smoothest knives ever. Once you get it past there, though, it's just as smooth. Tolerances, you can see, are just as tight in there. But you can feel that lockup. It snaps into place so nicely and just, I mean, bam, it's in there. There's the two of them next to each other. The AD-15 just has kind of a more streamlined look to it. I'll tell you what though, holding both of them, it's not as contoured and comfortable as the 10, and that clip definitely sticks out a little bit further than the one on the 10. At least it feels like it anyway. Yeah, just a little bit. And I can feel it in my hand a bit more. I mean, everything about the 10 is perfectly streamlined. Like, I love it. It's just the contouring and everything. It almost feels like you're not even holding anything. It's the world's most perfect handle, I have to say. This is very comfortable, but just by the nature of the design and the clip, not as comfortable, but still it feels really good. And the grippiness on that G10, that's not going anywhere, no matter what's going on. I mean, yeah. So, can we do this one-handed? Yeah, we can. What a cool locking system. Now stick. And of course, this is not the kind of lock that's going to mess with centering. Centering is dead perfect, as always. Fit and finish on this, just looking it over, is awesome. It's almost like you got two pivots, one for the blade, and in fact, these are, you know, the pivot, two pivots, one for the blade and one for the titanium lock bar, which seems to break in very quickly, you know, once you get it moving a little bit. This is definitely one I want to carry around. Awesome design, very unique design. I mean, I think the closest thing to it that I can think of would be the clicker. But even that's different. I mean, only similar in so much that there's a bar that raises, that unlocks the knife. But it functions differently. I don't think there's anything else like this out there. So comparing the 275, pivot to pivot, blade to blade, blade's about the same size, maybe just a tiny bit bigger. You get a little bit more weight on the 275. And you have your axis lock, which I always like. This one has not been carried a lot because it's the first production. I have another one that somebody's borrowing right now. That, you know, as a carrier, not a collection queen. But you do have a similar kind of blade. You know, you've got your high quality stainless steel versus high carbon steel. This is D2. This one has a much thicker handle, though, if you take a look, and the deep carry clip, which would be the only place, you know, the only way that I think it might hold any advantage over the AD-10. I feel like the lock on here, even though the axis lock is very tough, I feel like there's more chance in the world for this to fail than for this. There just is, and we're not going to see it fail with just a tap 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 on the, you know, on the countertop here. I feel like there's a smoothness with this that you don't have here. Oops, damn. You just don't. In fact, you can hear it. A little. This is just silent when it moves. I am dying to test the edge out on this guy right here. So, paper. Paper would help that. Oh, this is gorgeous. This is one of the drop the blade and let it fall through the paper knives. Perfect. I mean, the balance, the weight and balance of it just is great. Love it. Let's 550 it. Pull. Like there's nothing there at all. And I'm going to do a pull through again. Just ready? Great. And then slice, I'm sure, is going to be like nothing's there. It feels so good. Because of the corners there, and they did, if you look, they angled them off. A little bit of, you know, when you're holding like real firm pressure to cut through, a little bit of a hot spot right there. which you don't get so much on the 10. But other than that, comfortable. Like I said, it's not going to match the comfort of this contouring, but it's still a comfortable knife. And you know, you can rotate it around your hand a little bit just to find that sweet spot where it feels really good. But yeah, it just pops right through the core. It's awesome. Love it. So, not cheap though. Not a cheap knife at all. Now, I paid more for this through Blade HQ than it's listed for Amazon on right now. So this is going to go on Amazon. It's going to go on my list of favorite folders as well as video reviewed knives on the Amazon influencer list. Because you can get it for cheaper on Amazon than it was on Blade HQ. Now, the price on Blade HQ might come down because, you know, it was like the initial release, the pre-order, and all that other stuff. But it's still not a cheap knife. We're still talking, you know, not a mid-tech. It's a production knife, not a mid-tech, not a custom. But it's, you know, it's a higher-end knife. It's going to cost you a bit, quite a bit. But I think that there is definitely, you know, a value in that price. But speaking of value for the price, let's go ahead and look at the ratings and talk about that, since that's part of it. So, do I like it, number one, better than the Benchmade 275? And I've been my knife life anyway, what we'll call a lifelong Benchmade fan. Yes, I do. I absolutely do like it better than the 275. When it comes to originality and departures from previous designs, I gotta give it a 5. Now, yes, it does look like the AD-10, but you know, comparing it to the rest of Cold Steel's line, there's nothing in the world that looks like this. Now, like I said, it slight resemblance in terms of a little bit of operation to, like, you know, Brad Klecker's lock system, but just a passing little resemblance. It doesn't work like it at all, but it's so unique. It's got to get a 5. For fit and finish, of course, you know, it's beautiful. It gets a 5 as well. It's awesome all the way around. Everything on it is just done so nice. Function and mechanics would get a 5 if it didn't have just that little bit of a bump to get past. But you know what? That's actually working itself out pretty well right now. Just owed to the getting used to it factor of having to break in a little bit. I'm going to give it a 4.5 instead of a 5, but it's still a really good score. For production and out-of-the-box standards, of course, we're going to give it another 5. This is probably getting some of the, since I started the rating system, one of the highest ratings any knife has ever gotten so far. But we're going to give it a 5 for production out-of-the-box standards. Comfort and feel, it takes a little bit of a hit. I'm giving it not quite at a 4, but not quite at a 3.5. I'm going to give it a 3.8. It's one of those weird ratings. It's not as comfortable, I've said it a few times, as the AD-10. I don't think any knife, any folding knife anyway, is going to be as comfortable as this thing. I can't imagine what would match up to this. This is so super comfortable. I love it to death. But we're going to give it a 3.8 because it's pretty damn comfortable. It just has, you know, like a couple hot spot issues, but it's really, really good. When it comes to cool factor, though, I think that's where this knife, even though it's got a fairly conventional looking blade and everything, this is, I mean, you take this knife out and people are going to want to look at it and they're going to want to try it and they're going to want to mess with it. They're going to want to know how it works. This has a cool factor that I have not seen in a lot of other locking systems. You know, so for its cool factor, it's going to get a 4.5. It could have gotten a 5, you know, if the blade wasn't such a conventional shape and everything. But it's designed for function too. I mean, that's the thing. He didn't design a fancy looking fantasy knife. He designed a workhorse. But 4.5 is still pretty good, you know, as the ratings go. So 4.5 for cool factor. Definitely a cool knife. Quality materials also 4.5. There's only a very, very small place you can go up from this. And I know that his customs, you can go up a little bit. I think that there's slightly better steels you can move up to. Can you imagine an all titanium version of this? Would be amazing. But anyway, 4.5, yeah. Awesome materials, awesome blade steel. Look at the great work on the titanium and everything. So I think that's justified. Value of ownership and collectability. We're going to have to go with 3.5 because it is a production knife. It's pricey. Not everybody's going to get their hands on it and everything. And I'm not sure about how the value of this might increase over time or anything. Again, my Grail knife. Oh, man, if I could get my hands on a real custom AD-15 by Andrew Demko, I would be. Oh, I can't even tell you how that would tickle me. But in terms of the production knife, I mean, it's better than average. It definitely is better than average, but it's still a production cold steel knife. So we're gonna level off 3.5. But for value to price ratio, it is an expensive knife. But man, these things are so solid. If you want something that looks cool, that is hard use, that it's just a great knife overall. So it gets a 4. Definitely gets a 4. And I thought about making it higher than that, but I got to see how it survives over time a little bit too. This is just my initial thoughts out of the box, but I'm happy to pay this price for this kind of material, this engineering, this design. Yeah, definitely. So that gives us a total score of 44.3, which gives us an overall average score of 4.43. Now, why is it so weird? Because I threw a 0.8 in there. But that's a pretty high score. One of the highest scores I've given so far to date. What brought it down was really just the collectability and the comfort and feel. We're talking 5s, 4s, 4.5s everywhere else out of 5. Amazing knife. I love this. Now my question is going to be, which one do I carry more often? Because the feel of I know I keep talking about it. The feel of the AD-10 is incredible. But I love this lock system. It's so fun to play with. And I really want to test how secure it really is. Anyway, I would totally recommend this knife. Like I said, on Amazon influencer list in two different areas, in video reviewed knives and favorite folding knives. You'll find both of these there. What do you guys think? Who's going to pick one of these guys up? I'm going to carry it around for the rest of the day. In fact, I have to go do a Ravencrest video, but this is going to be in my pocket for the rest of the day. So I really, really, really am happy. I'm thrilled it finally came in. Love it. Worth the wait. Absolutely worth the wait. What a cool looking, unique, but functional, badass knife. So, all right, guys. I'm going to be doing another live stream event Wednesday the 26th, Q&A, chit-chat, whatever. You guys ask me whatever you want, any question related to the channel or anything else, and we'll have a good old time. I'm not putting any time limit on it. So 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I know that's, kind of out there for some of the other folks, across the pond in some other countries, but don't worry, the video will be, once the live portion is over, it'll be archived and uploaded like any other video, so you can watch it later. If there are questions that you want to ask, that you want me to address on the live Q&A, and you're not going to be able to be there for the live Q&A, send them to QuestionsForDocP@gmail.com, and I'll read them during the live stream, in addition to all the questions that people ask live. But yeah, tune in. It'll be fun. You guys really we had a good time on the last live stream. I'm going to start doing them more. Anyway, so definitely worth checking out, for real. Well, you guys are all absolutely awesome. I gotta get to physical therapy for my shoulder. I'm not looking forward to it, but I'm bringing this with me. It better not hurt me today. But you guys are all absolutely awesome. I appreciate every single one of you, and I will be back again real soon.